Pretty snazzy performance there. I'm Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog!
Not that irritating hedgehog again! Attack!
I finally found him. The Iblis Trigger.
Really? This is our title screen? Broken buildings against a blue sky with some sword and shield ass looking trees?
Great, Charriii's sending title screens now. 06's title screen is not bad at all. In fact, there's literally nothing you can criticize about it. Admit it, you just wanted to start off this video with a Pokemon reference, didn't you?
Oh yeah, like our flying lasts that long.
Okay, I'm going to say this one final time. Characters have to be nerfed in gameplay, otherwise there wouldn't be a game. This is like the Sin in your Sonic Heroes video where you complain about Tails' fight lasting longer canonically than in-game. There's no fun in flying over everything. Even in Sonic 3 and Knuckles where you can do that with Tails, you can't do it everywhere and have to play at least some of the game. And when characters are given their canon stats in-game, we get Devil May Cry 2.
I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
Okay, this is where things are gonna get a bit controversial. You see, I have a very strict policy on determining which glitches are actually problems with a game. And I hear you saying, what are you talking about? Glitches are always a problem with a game. Yes and no. The way I see it is that if a glitch occurs when you're just trying to play the game normally, then it's a problem. But if it's something you have to go out of your way to execute, and it's something you wouldn't think to do without prior knowledge, then it's not a problem. This is the case of the latter, where you need to jump over Silver to continue the level as Blaze. It doesn't matter how easy or hard it is to pull off, it's still something you would need to do yourself. And it's something you would likely never think to do.
What's the point of all this? It'll never end.
Exactly what everyone said when they got to this point in the story.
Except this is the third out of 4 stories, so they were actually halfway through. Oh, you were making a joke? In that case, ha ha ha, that's comedy gold.
Sonic Team was like, what should our design for the villain be for the new Sonic game? We need something menacing, fresh, edgy. And then they saw all the recolors on DeviantArt and said, perfect!
Sending Mephiles the Dark's design, and you know very well why he looks like a faded shadow, so shut up.
You must eliminate the individual who has awakened Iblis, the Iblis Trigger.
If I eliminate that guy, will our world be saved?
Silver, why are you even entertaining this guy's ideas? He sounds like a crazy person and has shown you no evidence that what he's saying is even remotely true.
To be absolutely fair, Silver has been fighting Iblis for who knows how long, so it makes sense that he'd be interested in a solution to his lifelong problem. And even then, he still asks for confirmation, and Mephiles gives him quote-unquote confirmation.
So that blue hedgehog's the Iblis Trigger?
Why is the T in that capitalized? It's mid-sentence.
Typos aren't sins. They're nitpicks no one cares about.
Also, that emerald didn't show you anything. That was just Sonic against a fiery background. He wasn't really doing anything.
The day of disaster. Here are my records of this event. This was when Iblis was freed and his flames were released into the world. And you have this person to blame.
I see it! So that blue hedgehog's the Iblis Trigger? I see it! So that blue hedgehog's the Iblis Trigger?
Blue hedgehog.
Why is Blaze lost in thought here? It's never made clear whether or not this is the same Blaze as the one in Rush, or whether or not this Blaze even knows Sonic. They never interact with each other, so what was the point of her maybe remembering?
I don't see this as her maybe remembering. More like her saying, interesting.
Where am I? Blaze? Blaze!
Yeah, why did all three of them go to different locations when Mephiles brought them to the present?
Mephiles purposely split them up. Why? Either to cover more ground or to toy with Silver. He's sadistic like that.
I hope Silver is okay. He's pretty insecure when he's alone.
Maybe it has something to do with his best friend pointing out his character flaws behind his back.
She's just concerned about her best friend. And like Silver knows about Blaze saying these things.
Transmission from HQ. There's an SOS coming from Dr. Eggman's base.
Shadow works for Gunn now? Look, just because you buried the hatchet doesn't mean you have to be okay with them now. They still killed your best friend and kept you locked up for 50 years.
You are answering yourself. He buried the hatchet, and Gunn tried to make up for what they did. Plus, Shadow is only here because the president asked him to.
Shadow, why you?
It's a request from the president.
Wait, the agent that we're here to rescue is Rouge? I thought she, and I quote, was going to give up this line of work. I probably should have brought that up in my Shadow the Hedgehog video too, but it wasn't as clear that she was still with Gunn there, whereas here it's a huge part of both Shadow and Rouge's part in the story.
If Metal Gear Solid and Splinter Cell have taught me anything, it's that there is no giving up this line of work. You can step away for a bit, but you'll always be pulled back.
Don't break the searchlights.
The searchlight pillars are solid. You need to use missiles.
Okay, so here we're given two pretty distinct objectives. Shadow says he needs to break the searchlights, but the narrator says we need to destroy the searchlight pillars, which, yes, would also destroy the searchlights themselves, but you would think, given those instructions, that the searchlights are the important part, not the pillars. And then the narrator says that we need to destroy 5 searchlights to open the door to the outside. So I'm on my merry way destroying the searchlights on foot because it's much faster and a lot easier than taking the buggy, only to find out that the game doesn't register the searchlights as destroyed unless I take out the pillars. But what's the difference? Why even allow me to destroy the searchlights on their own then?
I don't think you're even supposed to get high enough to reach the searchlights. Given the instructions, it would make more sense for someone to take the buggy and shoot the pillars. Plus, while the buggy can be wonky at times, I'd still argue it's easier since the pillars go down in one hit.
Ah, Soliana, the city of water. It has a constitutional monarchy, you know. The primary industries are tourism and crafting precision machinery.
Tourism? For what? There's nothing to see in Soliana.
What about the old castle? Ruins are a common tourist spot.
The current sovereign is Princess Elise III.
Well, wouldn't she be a queen if she's the current sovereign?
Princess Peach and Daisy say otherwise.
Why does Eggman's base lead to an odd place like this?
That is a legitimate question that is never answered.
Because it doesn't need to be answered. And even then, if you take a moment to think, you can assume that this is where Eggman was studying Soliana.
I have a little favor to ask of you. Could you escort me to the GUN rendezvous point?
G-U-N? Yeah, I know those are the letters, but we've never pronounced it like that. It's always been Gun.
Nobody cares!
We interrupt Sonic 06 to bring you the latest Final Fantasy game.
Charriii makes a video game reference that isn't in the game cliche.
A pleasure to meet you at last, Princess of Soliana.
Referencing the old movie Sonic design. And on the day the movie released, no less. Though, speaking of the Sonic movie, Jim Carrey's Eggman has a weird resemblance to 06's Eggman. At least regarding facial features.
Wow, that's a pretty snazzy performance there.
You're right, because it isn't. Also, how does Elise even know what Silver looks like?
She's had visions of him before. Like the vision of Iblis she saw moments ago.
I'm Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog!
Roll credits.
It's a bit hard to not say the title of the game when said title is the main character's name. Oh, and I'm still not laughing.
So, did everyone just leave? Because the town was filled with people celebrating the Festival of the Sun, but Eggman just showed up like a minute ago. Wouldn't we still be seeing at least a few people?
That's only one section of the town that Sonic is running through, and it's safe to assume that everyone panicked and ran away the second Eggman showed up.
I know that Elise is wearing pantyhose, but her legs are so shiny that it looks like both of her legs are prosthetic. And that they both got a tan.
Charriii answers himself while pointing things out on the screen cliche.
How the hell did Eggman sneak up on you? His mechs aren't necessarily quiet.
This one is, and there is such a thing as stealthcraft.
I finally found him. The Iblis trigger.
Why did you say that again? Didn't you say the exact same thing before Eggman kidnapped Elise?
Obviously, this is the same scene from a different perspective, genius.
Now I've got you, Sonic!
Ray!
Hey, Amy. You know, Shadow I kinda get. They have a similar body type and clothes that could be mistaken under the right light, but Silver's got boots and a pot leaf head.
I'm fine with your point that Amy shouldn't mistake Silver for Sonic, but calling Silver's clothes a pot leaf head?
No, it's not. That wasn't funny. Please, please never speak to me again.
Tails! Long time no see.
Charriii sends the series' most prominent line cliche.
Jesus Christ, this fucking load screen is long.
You waited a total of 10 seconds. Trust me, I watched this timer. And are the loading screens really that long, or are y'all just impatient gamers? Because I sat through these loading screens, and 20 to 25 seconds is not that long. The real problem is the sheer number of loading screens.
We interrupt Sonic 06 to bring you Superman 64.
Charriii makes a video game reference.
What? That was it? You needed a load screen for that? Oh my god, there's another load screen just for the results screen? And another one just to return to the hub world. And that happens every time you go into a town mission?
OMG, we get it. There's a lot of loading screens. Once is enough. You don't need to sin every single one.
Hey, Wave Ocean, Emerald Coast called. It wants its everything back.
This is an intentional homage to Emerald Coast. This game was basically marketed as Sonic Adventure 3, even though I personally believe that there never will be a Sonic Adventure 3.
Thank you, Tails. You saved me.
Did the game free? Oh. Okay. Why does that take so long to happen?
Because the whale was a little far away. Also, that was 5 seconds. You really are an impatient gamer.
The Mach speed sections suck. There's no stopping no matter what. You can't correct your position mid-air, so jumping has to be kept to a minimum. If you hit anything, you better pray there's more road to run on, otherwise you'll run into a never-ending animation loop of Sonic getting hit, which will result in a death, and worst of all, you never know what's coming the first time, so pretty much inevitably you're going to die, meaning you have to do the entire Mach speed section again once you do.
I actually like the Mach speed sections. They're rather exhilarating, and believe it or not, the only one I died on was the one in Kingdom Valley. Want some advice? Use the lightspeed dash on the rings. It's much easier that way.
Oh, f*** you, like that's fair. How was I supposed to know that I would fall off the side? It's an automatic loop!
An automatic loop that you ran directly on the edge of. Even as an automatic loop, no one in their right mind would take the very edge.
Okay, so something you might have noticed by now is that I'm tackling the story in chronological order, or at least in a chronological order that makes sense, but this is the first level you'd play when you boot up the game for the first time, and if you get a game over, which mind you, is very possible to do given the Mach speed sections, you have to start the game from the beginning. And I'm not talking the beginning of Wave Ocean, no, I'm talking the very first cutscene of the game, meaning you have to do everything all over again, which just means you're gonna have to sit through all those long-ass loading screens again just to get another shot at doing Wave Ocean. And I know what you're thinking, well that's stupid, doesn't this game have an autosave feature? No, it doesn't. This 2006 PlayStation 3 Xbox 360 game doesn't have an autosave feature. Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the Genesis had a fucking autosave feature, and that was 1994!
And even after Sonic 06, the 3DS remakes of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask don't have autosaves either. And those games are very well liked. One more so than the other, but they're not bad at all.
Let's head back to the city.
What the hell is the point in going back to the city? That's the opposite direction Eggman and Elise are going!
They need to take another path because they can't move forward anymore. Most likely due to there being no more beach.
I need an anti-gravity chip to fucking slide? And moreover, didn't the Lightspeed Dash sort of become part of Sonic's natural moveset by Heroes? Why do I need not only a special chip, but special shoes in order to do it? And speaking of a slide, why can't we travel 40 miles with it?
You were right with the first two, but then you had to bring this up. Like, how is being able to slide for long distances even a problem with the game? Sure, it may or may not be what the devs intended, but nothing really bad comes of it.
So, we can't unlock the mirror to Sonic's dusty desert until we rescue this little girl from this rooftop, but according to her, she got up here by choice, meaning she must have done it somewhat safely, so why do we have to get her down? Why doesn't she just come down the same way she got up here? And don't tell me she used a spring to get up here like we did. She's human. If the spring didn't kill her, the fall on the way down did.
She was clearly scared. You'd be surprised what people are capable of doing when they don't think. But now that she was thinking, she was too scared to climb back down.
How long is this gonna go on?
You shut the f*** up, because I've still got 10.5 hours of this shit to sit through, and that's not counting all the loading screens.
I would say, then just turn the game off. But we both know you're not going to do that. So instead, I'm chalking this up as needless fluff in an already hour-long video.
Not that the homing attack makes much sense on its own, but doesn't it seem counterintuitive to be able to do it while holding someone?
That's not the homing attack, that's the kick. Like in Lost World.
This game has spirits that you have to help move on to the afterlife, and yeah, there have been ghosts in Sonic games before, but never any that straight up look like humans.
And what's the problem? No, seriously, why is it bad that there are spirits that look like humans in Sonic the Hedgehog?
So, I've never had an issue with the ball puzzle in this game. In fact, I got it on my first try, but this one goes out to everyone who does have issues with it. F this puzzle! But if you don't want to have to deal with it, there is a thing you can do that you're not supposed to.
I'm actually going to remove a sin here because I had heard horror stories about this puzzle before attempting it myself. And after one failed attempt, I basically said screw this and used that glitch to skip it. But at the same time, you're sending a glitch that's not only very helpful, but is also something you need prior knowledge of to even attempt doing.
We interrupt Sonic 06 to bring you the Windows XP desktop background.
Charriii makes a pop culture reference.
Your smile. That's all I need.
Is this when my girlfriend hangs out with her friend Steve? Because I have the virgin walk while Sonic has the Chad stride.
Oh gosh, the ex-girlfriend jokes are back. I did not miss these.
Sonic! Sonic! Wait! I can't run that fast.
Don't worry. Just raise your head and run.
No, Sonic, I don't think you understand. You run so fast, you could physically rip her arm off.
You don't think he knows that? Sonic can control his speed.
Nothing starts until you take action. If you have time to worry, then run.
That is awful advice. You're basically saying, what, you got issues? Whatever, who cares? Don't worry about it, just run away from them.
That is not what that sentence means at all. Sonic is saying that you should face your problems head on. And for Sonic, he deals with his problems by running towards them.
Where did we get this glider? Why don't we just hang on to Rouge while she flies us to the extraction point?
If Heroes is anything to go by, I don't think she can carry Shadow all the way there. Also, the vehicles are courtesy of Gun.
What?
You dropped a bomb and it broke the window when it exploded.
You know what game everyone loved? Shadow the Hedgehog. And you know what elements of that game people enjoyed? The vehicles. But people like the guns too, so why don't we add vehicles that have guns in them?
Hey, the vehicles actually aren't too bad in this game. They're a little wonky, but not awful.
You know, Eggman, you had way more than enough time to tell your robots to grab the scepter before it fell to the ground. You have no one to blame but yourself.
Grab it with what? Their hands are guns.
This fight, this fight, this fight.
I don't think so. Yeah, a bunch of people constantly complain about this fight, but equal amounts agree that's not that bad once you get it down. Some people even beat it on their first try. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of those people, but I didn't get a game over at least.
Hey!
Why is it just the word hey with no punctuation?
Remember guys, typos aren't sins unless they appear back to back. And last I checked, we haven't encountered that yet.
Is this a joke? How could someone like you cause the destruction of our world?
Well, first off, you attacked him when his guard was down, so kind of a dick move. But second, he beat your ass.
Silver is fighting to save the future. If it means playing a little dirty, he will. And the fact that Silver was able to bring Sonic to his knees with one attack makes that remark a little more warranted, even if his guard was down.
Future, the Iblis trigger must be destroyed.
Elise? Wait!
God damn it, didn't I just save you?
Yes, but Eggman isn't letting her get away that easy.
Don't you dare turn your back on me! It's time I finally put an end to this.
Stop!
Amy?
Where was Amy? She was literally with Silver the moment he spotted Sonic. Didn't she hear all the commotion when they met? Where did she run off to?
Silver waited until Amy wandered far enough to where she wouldn't notice the battle. At least not until later.
He's responsible for destroying my world.
That's crazy! Sonic would never do that.
But it's true.
Based on what, idiot? An edgy gif of Sonic you saw inside a Jolly Rancher?
Charriii sends the same thing twice, cliche.
If I had to choose between the world and Sonic, I would choose Sonic.
You crazy bitch!
She's not crazy, she's devoted to him.
Look at this normal-ass dog compared to the freak of absolute nature that is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Charriii points out things on the screen, cliche.
2 of the soldiers might lie to me? Well, are you one of them?
Hey. Hey.
You stupid son of a bitch! I am trying to rescue your sovereign, you clown! I don't have the goddamn time to play these stupid little games, you c***! What is the matter with you?
He's just following the rules he was given. Upholding the law is his job.
Time to
What the hell is that?
We interrupt Sonic 06 to bring you Pokemon the first movie.
Charriii makes a pop culture reference.
He's pretty cocky.
It's most definitely a trap. I don't think Eggman will honor his agreement.
No! Really? You think?
Well, if he hadn't said that, you would have called him an idiot for thinking that Eggman would honor his agreement. It's a lose-lose scenario with you and these characters.
I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
You're getting extra sins for this one because not only is this something you have to do yourself, but I also tried this myself and had fun doing it.
Knuckles?
Charriii sends the same thing twice, cliche.
Also, Ice Cap called and wants it. Yeah, okay.
Another homage to Adventure 1. Homages aren't sins.
I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
But you can't do it by accident.
Place it there.
Isn't this the same thing they did in Adventure 2 when Eggman sent Sonic out into space and the capsule had exploded?
No.
Really? You couldn't have asked Mike Pollock for a longer laugh instead of cutting his laugh in half?
How can you tell it was cut in half? It doesn't sound like it was cut in half. It just sounded like he laughed twice.
They've just been teleported by my glorious invention to another time. Who knows where they'll end up?
Don't you mean when they'll end up?
Where, when, it doesn't matter unless you're picky. And you live to be picky, so what should I expect?
Isn't that the Chaos Emerald that Eggman just got from Sonic? Didn't he say he needed the Chaos Emeralds for his plan? Why did he give the emerald to the Egg Genesis?
To safeguard it until he found the others?
Oh.
Prisoner has escaped from cell block C-17.
How did Elise manage to escape her cell? It kind of looks like she just opened the door. And if that's the case, that's the shittiest cell I've ever seen.
That's clearly not the cell. How she escaped her real cell is a sin, but thinking that the door she just went through is her cell is stupid.
Tails can fly, Knuckles can glide, and yet Sonic's the only one that landed on his feet?
That's because one is naive and the other is dull.
Oh, look who's here. I didn't expect to see you guys.
Well, isn't that a coincidence? Seriously, what are the goddamn odds that both these group of characters got sent into the distant future by different characters to the exact same point in time down to the very day?
The will of the writers made that possible. Seriously, coincidences happen all the time. Stop complaining.
Hi, long time no see.
Charriii sends the series' most prominent line, cliche.
That guy's the lucky one. I also have someone that I'm pursuing too. I wish us both luck.
Has Amy not heard that Sonic's been the one saving Elise? Because I feel like everyone in town knows that by now, and Amy somehow remained oblivious to that fact.
Amy doesn't really ask people where Sonic is when she's hunting for him. She just follows her intuition.
I see. You mean using your chaos control will... Yes, but that alone is insufficient.
Who was the asshole who directed that camera movement and was like, yeah, that looks good?
It looks fine to me. maybe a little cheesy, but I wouldn't call it bad. Also, you totally just insulted a real person just then.
Did those buildings just randomly explode? Why did those buildings just randomly explode?
The fire creatures everywhere? Stupid.
And the same building explodes in Sonic's version too. Why is this building just randomly exploding?
Charriii sends the same thing twice, cliche.
Okay, so not only did Mephiles and Eggman separately and randomly transport our heroes to the same time in the distant future, they also happen to end up around the same time that Silver and Blaze's adventures start. Seriously, what are the odds?
Never tell me the odds.
You guys are so slow. Look.
A Chaos Emerald! You've already found one!
Yes, Tails, thank you for once again pointing out the obvious.
And yet you have no qualms doing it yourself.
Also, yeah, where did you find that emerald? You kind of just had it in the last cutscene.
She found it at the end of the stage. Not everything requires an in-your-face explanation.
I received a signal indicating there's a Chaos Emerald here, but...
You mean we've got to go through there?
If you don't like it, you can stay here.
You've got to be kidding.
Did they just use that shitty turning animation for Knuckles twice in the same scene?
Or the person doing the mocap turned around the same way they did the last time. Even then, there's only so many ways you can do a turn.
Don't be late.
What do you mean, don't be late? Aren't you guys heading to the same place at the same time? Like, I know you're not gonna be holding hands, but...
There's always a chance that one team could fall behind. This is a volcano after all.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's how gravity works. Alright.
You're supposed to be running fast through this loop. Who in their right mind would slow down during this part? I did!
It's raining fire!
Sonic the Hedgehog, fastest thing alive, also Satan.
What? You don't think that looks cool in a volcanic setting?
Who was the dickhead that was like, let's put a fire spout in front of a dash pad, which you can't avoid, meaning that 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get hit by the fire when you get to this part?
Is it a bad time to say that I didn't get hit by that fire spout? In fact, for those of you who did play this game, let me know if you did get hit or not. Assuming you remember, of course.
I'm sorry, does Knuckles just T-pose when going through a rainbow ring?
That's because he's not supposed to be this far. You're the one using a glitch to get him here.
I'm not supposed to be able to do this. Or, who knows, maybe I am supposed to be able to do that, considering I can do the exact same thing with Rouge.
And there's your confirmation. Also, Charriii sends the same thing twice, cliche.
So, we've established that this is after Silver and Blaze fight Iblis at the beginning of Silver's story, meaning that the big Iblis they fought has reverted into a sort of larva. So, couldn't Silver just get rid of Iblis by defeating the baby form?
No, Iblis will still regenerate. The only way to stop his regeneration is by destroying his core hidden in the volcano, as shown in the last level of Silver's story.
Chaos Control!
Wait, so all you need to create a time travel portal is have 2 people induce a chaos control? Since when? You guys did that in Adventure 2 and all that happened was you teleported the Ark, you didn't travel through time.
Since right now, it's made clear throughout multiple games that the Emeralds have unlimited power, and they turn your thoughts into power. With that in mind, they can introduce new things for the Emeralds and get away with it.
Excuse me, what does that say? Daily Soriana?
Typos are not sins.
Also, who took these photos? Didn't the city evacuate the moment Eggman showed up? There didn't seem to be any people left.
Paparazzi will always stick around if it means a good story. They just weren't in the area Sonic ran through.
What? Was that supposed to be a vent or something? How'd I end up here?
You smashed through the vent and traveled through it to another vent.
Shadow. Shadow.
Shadow? And he doesn't have a Chaos Emerald anymore.
Wait, why did the Chaos Emerald go through the portal to begin with? When did Shadow not only let go of the Emerald, but throw it through the portal for it to have ended up with Rouge? Also, Rouge went through the portal not long after Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles did, and if they got caught up looking at that newspaper, she would have at least bumped into him.
Or the portal pushed her through a few minutes before or after them. You gotta think where and when you want the portal to take you for it to take you there.
Right now, I have a priority situation to deal with. I need to contact E123 Omega immediately.
Breaking the fourth wall. Why is she looking at the camera?
Charriii points out things on the screen cliché. Also, breaking the fourth wall isn't a sin.
Hi, long time no see.
Charriii sends the series' most prominent line cliché.
So, decided to void your return ticket now, did you?
Why are you here? Did you ruin this world?
The answer's yes and no.
No, it's pretty much only yes. Just because Shadow got blamed for it doesn't mean you didn't do it.
He's trying to manipulate Shadow. He's not going to tell him the truth. In fact, Mephiles' entire thing is that he speaks lies, but the way he says them sounds all too real.
Dance, my shadows, dance!
Suddenly Dax from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Charriii makes a video game reference.
Agent Shadow, we've lost contact with Agent Rouge. Head to the warehouse district immediately.
How the hell did you lose contact with Rouge? She's right at the warehouse. Have you even tried contacting her again? Why would you think she's there to begin with?
Well, we encounter Eggman's robots at the warehouse district, so they likely cut her off there.
Shadow? Well, that's just rude.
Who would think to jump on the screen? Like, yeah, it's silly, but no one other than you would do it.
This is Rouge. GUNHQ?
See, you can contact her here. Why was Gun saying they lost all contact with her?
Charriii sends the same thing twice, cliché.
Yes. Pull all available data on an item called the Scepter of Darkness for me.
For what? Weren't you, as an agent sent to retrieve it, already briefed on all the information they had to begin with?
Clearly not. She was just sent in to get it thanks to her skills as a treasure hunter.
Tell me, who is the Iblis Trigger? Why does he want to destroy the world?
Why does that matter to you?
Because he might be trying to kill an innocent person that has nothing to do with what he thinks?
Again, Mephiles is trying to keep Silver under his manipulation. Plus, he brings up the valid point of, if he does nothing, the future remains the same.
Why do I have to buy the Heart of Wind to advance to the next part? I can get past the guards on the way to the train station without it.
He says, while using the Heart of Wind to get past the guards. Have you actually tried getting past the guards without it? Or are you just saying that?
You got kidnapped again? God damn it, didn't Amy technically just save you?
Yes, and Eggman ambushed her at the castle. He's being proactive today.
There's no other way ahead. I guess I've got to break down the door.
Question, why can't I just use my ESP powers to break down that seemingly frail wooden door?
You literally do? How else can you throw those boxes at it?
Wouldn't the door have been easier?
Yeah, maybe, if you weren't on a fucking moving train.
He was being sarcastic.
When you capture Mephiles, you must bring him to me. Then I'll tell you the truth about Solaris.
Did you just agree to that? Why would you trust this idiot?
Does he have any other options? Seriously, what else could he do?
We just rescued you!
What do you honestly expect Elise to do against Eggman's mechs? She doesn't have magic or superpowers. The most she could do is slap Eggman, and where would that get her?
And guess what? You have to watch that cutscene 3 separate times. And yeah, I know, it's because all 3 characters are in this cutscene, but that just means you have to watch Elise get kidnapped again 3 separate times!
After playing through several other levels to get here, you're not seeing them back to back.
What's the point of being able to grab Shadow with Silver's ESP if you can't throw him?
Why are you sitting this for Shadow and not Sonic? You couldn't throw him either and you said nothing. And if by throw you mean hold in place, you actually can do that with both Hedgehogs. Shadow only breaks free thanks to Chaos Boost.
Chaos control!
Was Silver really about to just punch Shadow in the face? You have psychokinesis, you idiot!
Silver is exhausted and isn't thinking straight. He's doing whatever he can think of at the moment.
Chaos control!
Oh, son of a bitch. Did Silver just chaos control? Never mind that he's only ever seen Shadow do it once. I'm not even sure Silver knows what chaos control does, let alone how to use it.
You would be right if it weren't for Blaze literally explaining chaos control to Silver.
That's a Chaos Emerald. 'Cause 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 ' It said this gem can transform your thoughts into power. Collect 7, and a miracle's supposed to happen. Keep it as a lucky charm.
It transforms your thoughts into power.
The real sin is that even if you take Rush into account, Blaze shouldn't know how to activate Chaos Control.
To discover what happened, it seems we must see what took place 10 years ago. Follow me if you want the truth.
Wait, so how does time travel work? Because you just made a portal on complete accident, and yet you were super confident that it would take you 10 years into the past. Do you just decide when you go through the portal? Or do you have to know what you want when making the portal? Hell, it's clearly not the latter, considering you made the portal on accident and still managed to go when you wanted.
As I just showed, the emeralds work by transforming your thoughts into power. Both of them were thinking and controlling time, which made the portal. You just need to think where and when you want the portal to take you, and it'll take you there.
My lord, it's too late! We've got to take shelter!
Did 4Kids not have any money left after hiring Lacey Chabert that they had to recycle Dan Green as Knuckles not only for the main bad guy, but for this guy too? Normally I don't knock voice acting because whatever, I get it, but here all 3 of those characters sound exactly the same.
If you don't like it, you can stay here.
The day of disaster. Here are my records of this event.
My lord, it's too late! We've got to take shelter!
Oh yeah, they totally sound the same.
They're escaping!
We'll have to split up. I'll pursue Mephiles.
Okay, then leave Iblis to me.
Nah, really? Who else would you have gone after? He was the only one left!
Okay, now you're just being pedantic.
Chaos Control!
Okay, so if I may recap, Chaos Control seems to be able to do a multitude of things. It can teleport people, it can slow down time, freeze time completely, cause time travel, and now it can also apparently seal the embodiment of darkness itself.
Yes, thank you for the recap. Mind explaining why any of that is a sin?
Your death, certain. You will die.
Well, apparently not, because he's still locked up 200 years later.
That's in the current timeline. Mephiles is trying to alter time.
Did Shadow really just let the Scepter of Darkness fall onto the floor? Does he not remember what happened last time that thing hit the ground?
Last time it was like 30 feet in the air. This time it was barely 10.
Shadow, I'll be looking out for your truth.
What do you mean you'll be looking out for it? Didn't you see Iblis and Mephiles separate from each other? Let me get this straight. When Mephiles tells you that Sonic is responsible for the destruction of your world, you don't bat an eye and just trust him, but when Shadow straight up shows you that Mephiles isn't what you think he is, you still have to be convinced?
Silver didn't blindly trust Mephiles. He needed confirmation, which Mephiles gave. Also, the truth Silver is referring to is how to actually deal with Iblis.
Okay, admittedly these ball sections aren't the worst, but they're still way more trouble than they're worth, and I don't know anybody who likes them.
Me neither.
Hey, what are you doing?
How are you even still alive? You were at the epicenter of an explosion! Of a sun god!
He was actually a bit farther away protecting Elise. He gave himself time to recover enough to carry Elise here, and even then, he dies a bit later.
Remember, be brave. Don't cry, no matter what happens. Otherwise, your tears will call forth the flames inside you.
Wait, you mean to tell me that when you said don't cry, you meant it literally? You expect me to believe that this 7-year-old girl hasn't shed a tear for 10 years? And speaking of which, what constitutes tears in this scenario? What if she laughs until she cries? Is she allowed to yawn? What about dust? It's not her goddamn fault if dust gets in her eyes. What are the rules, damn it?
I see you're beginning to lose your sanity. First of all, I'd actually give Elise massive props for being able to not cry for 10 years. That takes an extreme amount of willpower. Yes, it's unrealistic, but this is Sonic the Hedgehog. Coming into the series expecting realism is like expecting a Mario game to have blood and gore. Second of all, while I do admit that they could have made the rules involving Elise crying a little clearer, if you read between the lines and examine the scene where Elise almost cries because Sonic will leave Soliana, it can be assumed that Iblis will only be released if she cries when sad, the most common type of tears.
You're going to leave it behind?
Yes. I already know what becomes of it in the future.
Yeah, it breaks! That's exactly why you should take it with you! That way, Mephiles won't be around in the present because the Scepter of Darkness won't even exist for the past 10 years!
Would that actually work? One thing everyone forgets is that time travel has no real rules. Every work of fiction that involves time travel deals with it differently. So we can't assume that time travel will work like Back to the Future. Heck, we even have a little confirmation of this at the end of Silver's story. Sonic travels back in time to save Elise from dying, which is the reason the future is the way it is. That, in theory, should have changed the future already, but when Silver and Blaze go back to the future, it's still the same as it was.
Oh yeah, your dad just died. Are you telling me that this child didn't cry when she found out her father died while protecting her?
Yes.
It's a lucky charm.
Excuse me! Are you telling me that Princess Elise III, Sovereign of Soliana, has been in possession of the Blue Chaos Emerald for the past 10 years? Because that's impossible! Unless there are 2 Blue Chaos Emeralds, how did Sonic fight Perfect Chaos? How did Sonic and Shadow fight the Final Hazard? How did Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles fight Metal Overlord? How did Shadow fight Devil Doom? I'm sorry, I guess they were just 8 Chaos Emeralds this whole time!
Well, according to Sonic the Fighters, you're not exactly wrong. Okay, jokes aside, it's a bit presumptuous of you to just assume the time gap between each game is the same as it is in reality when you have virtually no evidence of it. Yeah, I assumed as much with Mario, but the thing is, with Mario, there were references to Mario's various anniversaries. Now, that doesn't mean that those characters age like regular humans, or even at all, but my point is, Mario at least gave us an idea of a time gap. Sonic doesn't really do that. Excluding LEGO Dimensions, since it's not canon, none of the games have ever given us so much as an idea of a time gap. Not even Generations. In fact, the closest thing we've ever gotten to that is this.
For you, perhaps. He has beaten you for decades.
Which is a little too vague to make any real assumptions.
No, we clearly saw that she dove head first, meaning that there's no way Sonic would be able to catch her so easily. Elise should be dead!
And you'd love that, wouldn't you? Again, don't go into Sonic expecting realism.
You think you can intimidate me with just your size? Come on, let's see what you can do.
You know, I overheard my girlfriend say the same thing to her friend Steve, but there's no way it was in the same context as this, so now I'm confused.
Hey champ, that's really interesting. Next time, keep it to yourself.
What? I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
I don't think your average player would think to do that.
Green Jungle called it, says alright.
Even Charrii's admitting the joke's worn thin.
I don't like this look Elise is giving Sonic. I don't like it.
Okay, I know I made the joke that Sonic and Elise was a bad ship in my Sonic Ships video, but that was mostly for the sake of a joke. I don't ship it, but at the same time, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. In fact, let me pose a question. Why is it that Sonic and Elise is treated as the worst ship to ever exist, and yet all of these are okay? One of these is a literal skeleton with a literal child.
What the hell happened to this person? Was she a victim of Solaris exploding too?
That's just a serious face, dude. That's not worth pointing out.
Okay.
Would you really turn back in this situation without prior knowledge? Who thinks of doing this?
I need you to access GUN's database. Specifically, find out what materials the Scepter of Darkness was made from.
Sure. But you haven't answered my question yet.
I found the means to seal Mephiles.
What do you mean you found the means? You had the means! You saw the Scepter of Darkness break and Mephiles escape! You knew what you needed, you idiot!
Shadow knew Mephiles was inside the Scepter of Darkness, but he didn't know how he was sealed until his trip to the past. Unless you got caught in that by accident, which isn't very likely, you know where this is going.
On a boring assignment today. I have to test people to see if they have what it takes to be an agent. Yeah, it's that test you took years ago. Years ago? Shadow's been a gun agent for years? As in, plural?
Apparently. It's like I said earlier, the time gap isn't the same as it is in reality.
That's it? That's all I needed to make a Scepter of Darkness?
Yes.
Hold on, if I press up against a wall and spam the hover button, I hover up?
You know what I'm going to say.
I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
I held back on playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania for this.
Blaze.
What did you see?
What did he see where? How do you know where he was?
He clearly jumped out of a portal. Blaze can assume he's been somewhere else from that alone.
The Iblis trigger wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, he was, just not in the way you think. In fact, you saying that kind of leads me to believe you haven't learned anything.
Sonic isn't the Iblis trigger. Just because he was involved doesn't mean he caused Elise's death. If anything, Eggman is the Iblis trigger due to him refusing to give Elise up.
I see.
Crowd of people noise? I don't understand. Is it describing the type of noise, or is the word noise a verb? Either way, they both sound wrong.
Only the people like you who think way too deeply about the smallest of things.
I heard that the princess here left for Dr. Eggman's base in response to his earlier threat.
She got kidnapped again? Shit.
She actually turned herself into him. 10 cents for not shutting up about that already.
Okay, so you might have noticed this little meter in the bottom right corner of the screen. It limits Silver's ESP powers as well as Sonic and Elise's shield, and it quantifies Shadow's Chaos Boost energy. But Sonic still has it even when Elise isn't around, and that's because you can purchase these special gems that go on Sonic's shoes that grant him special abilities depending on the gem. But the thing is, the programmers of this game were fucking morons and didn't code Sonic's meter correctly, meaning that Sonic's gem abilities have no limit. The meter never drains, so you can use the gem abilities for as long as you want, and that breaks the game completely, because you can use the red gem to slow down time indefinitely, or the purple gem to jump indefinitely. You can do things that you're not meant to do because the only character that didn't code the meter for is the one that shares his name with the fucking game!
While I admit this is a mistake, you gotta admit that one of the best parts of this game was using the gems to snap it like a twig. Trust me, a ton of people get a kick out of that.
How does Sonic's self-proclaimed biggest fan not recognize him?
Because he believes that he is Sonic the Hedgehog.
So, I don't show it because Amy's the quicker choice, but you have to choose between Amy or Elise, but if you choose Elise, why don't we just keep Elise with us? Aren't we heading to Kingdom Valley precisely to go get Elise?
Elise isn't actually here, dingus. This is just for the sake of the trial.
That was incredible!
I barely got the S rank for that? I did that in under 5 seconds! How fast do they expect you to do that? It's not even like I can get rings to boost my rank, at least not to my knowledge.
Or that's simply the cap for how many points you can get for this mission. With this kind of mission, it makes sense.
Wait, we needed to do those trials so that an eagle could carry us over to the mirror to Kingdom Valley? Why didn't Tails just carry us over there? That dumb bastard's already here!
Because Sonic would rather obey their customs. Besides, the trials themselves are incredibly easy anyways.
Ah yes, Sonic 06, the game that asks you to, and I quote, capture the 6 children within the time limit.
Out of context, that may sound bad, but within context, it's just a game of tag.
Again, I feel the need to ask, what was the point of the trials if Silver can just fly over to the mirror? What, are the people in charge going to say no to the psychokinetic 3-foot hedgehog?
He's doing it out of respect, which you clearly lack.
Okay, so I know I explained why the Mach Speed sections suck, but this one in particular is awful because I can't see dick! And if I get hit, I have to do this section all over again, and if I can't see enough dick, I have to do this whole level all over again.
Even though this is the one Mach Speed section that killed me, I wouldn't call it as bad as you make it out to be. Besides, you're the one constantly running up the wall. Also, Charriii says boner.
I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
Shut up, man!
The engines are malfunctioning.
Why? Just randomly? Because, I mean, no one's done anything to the engines.
Another convenience brought on by the game's writers. Conveniences are the least of this game's problems.
Also, couldn't you just evacuate? You have that Eggmobile that you've been using to kidnap Elise. Why not just take that and abandon ship?
How do you know they didn't try? All we see is Eggman finding out the ship is malfunctioning and panicking. That doesn't mean he didn't try and fail.
If we return to an earlier point in time, we'll be able to save her.
I understand.
Okay, so I was wondering what happened to this emerald because it's the one that the Duke uses to seal Iblis and Elise, but we never see him give the emerald to Silver, so I thought he just left it in the past.
It's not that hard to assume that Silver took this emerald with him. The scene basically confirms it. Even if we had seen him take it, all that it would amount to is 3 seconds of Silver picking up the white emerald.
Chaos control!
How do either of them know that the other knows how to do this? They never saw each other do it, and Silver literally just learned how to do the chaos control earlier today.
They don't know. They assume based on each other's understanding. And it works.
Discount Egg Viper. Seriously, the lasers, the fighting on floating grades, it being the final boss in Sonic's story. Hell, Eggman even says, "I can't believe this," when you beat him.
You mean the superior Egg Viper. See my best and worst Sonic bosses video for details.
Speaking of beating him, if you throw the Sky Gem a few seconds before you grab onto the horn, you'll be pulled back onto the platforms and get an early win. You don't even really have to damage the cockpit. I'm not supposed to be able to do this.
You're getting 10 sins for this because not only is this a lot more elaborate to the point where I don't know how you even discovered this exploit, but it's also a way to skip the second best fight in this game. Who would want to do that?
I can't believe this!
Sinning Eggman's death. That's worth these many sins.
Sonic!
Aren't you worried? If you have time to worry, then none, right?
That's not what that means, Elise. It's a metaphor for evading your problems, but he's taking action by literally running.
Amazing. You still act like you misunderstand the meaning of the phrase while saying its actual meaning.
Yeah, no, both of you should be dead!
Elise, maybe, but considering Sonic can fall from space no problem, and he was shielding Elise, do I really need to finish my sentence? So, laughing about surviving a dangerous situation deserves a sin? I don't get the reasoning.
Also, you know what I just realized? Where did the piece of cloth that Elise put on Sonic's arm go? By the time they go back to Castletown, it's just gone.
This is assuming anyone actually cares, of course, but you can always assume that he took it off by the time they got back to Castletown. Sonic's a fast healer.
Actually, looking back, where did that piece of cloth even come from?
Her handkerchief? A piece of her clothing? Does anyone other than you care?
Nice smile.
Wait, that's how he winks? He has one eyeball but 2 separate eyelids?
I know it's a running joke that Sonic has only one eye, but not only is it not funny, but also Sonic's anatomy is not to be questioned.
Ew, no, don't wink at each other.
What? Close friends can't wink at each other?
I'll make sure to change Elise's fate. And that in turn should change your future too.
You know, I never thought about it, but Silver never introduced Blaze to Sonic. She's just kind of there, they never have an exchange. In fact, I'm pretty sure Blaze never talks to anyone but Silver in this game. Like, yeah, she speaks in the presence of Mephiles, but that's more her reacting to something Silver said. She never once directs a word to anyone but him.
Okay, you're gonna explain why that's a sin? Blaze doesn't encounter anyone other than Sonic, and she doesn't even know him in this timeline.
Okay, so the portal does take you to where you want to go when you go through it, but then how does that work? Did Silver and Blaze just think, take me to 200 years from now? Is this exactly 200 years in the future? I'm still unclear on how the rules work.
Even after it was directly said that the emeralds transform your thoughts into power? Did you miss that?
I know how to save our world now. We don't have to change the past.
But wouldn't that be easier? You go back to when the Solaris project was being worked on and you shut that down so that Solaris never splits in two?
Like I said, that likely wouldn't work. Heck, the fact that the future is still screwed despite Sonic changing the past kind of supports this.
Great!
I got a 32,000 point time bonus? That's over halfway to an S rank! That stage took me 14 minutes! How long do they expect you to take on this level?
I don't think it was your time that was your problem.
So the Bio-Lizard called and said it wants its high and low energy attacks back.
This one isn't even accurate. Those are clearly flame waves. The Bio-Lizard had electric balls.
Eternal Sun, the living flame that has been entrusted to the royal family. Fall into slumber with my soul, Iblis, you cursed flames of disaster! No! Why won't it accept me as the vessel?
Because you're not royalty, pothead! Did you learn nothing from your trip to the past?
Silver learned that Iblis can be sealed in a person's body, but he didn't realize that the vessel needed to be royalty, which is understandable given how naive he is. Also calling Silver a pothead.
Come on, make it quick. Use your chaos control to stop time. Then seal us into a different dimension.
Wait, Chaos Control can do that too?
Yes, it can do anything.
Also, what would that accomplish? You're just taking Iblis to a different world. How long until he destroys that one too? You might as well keep him here.
Blaze doesn't want to risk history repeating itself. Plus, she's very good at keeping her emotions in check.
Blaze!
Good luck, Silver.
I don't understand. Being that she's royalty and that she can already control fire, shouldn't Blaze be able to contain Iblis perfectly fine? I mean, hell, Elise did it perfectly for 10 years and all she had to do was not cry. Blaze barely shows any emotion at all. Why'd she feel the need to seal herself in another dimension?
Blaze isn't royalty in this timeline. Iblis only accepted her because she had flame powers already. And even then, he didn't fully comply. Oh, and Blaze didn't seal herself into another dimension. She died!
Lord Regis' daughter, and no, I'm not going to dignify her by calling her by her actual name.
Sabrina's not that bad. Heck, I've actually seen worse spoiled brats. Baruch Assault from Willy Wonka, anyone?
Wait, you put explosive boxes as obstacles on your motorcycle driver's license test? So it's either get the license or die?
This is only for Shadow's test, and he can take the blasts. Remember this?
His movement shows he's seeking any Chaos Emerald he can find. Supposedly, he needs one in order to join with Iblis again.
But he's had the purple one since the start of the game. Why would he go looking for another one?
Because Shadow's assumption is only partly true. We see in the last story that he needs all 7 emeralds to rejoin with Iblis.
Destroy!
Who the hell put a space between the I and the T in the word it's? You had one job!
So did you, and yet you had a bunch of problems in your Mario and Luigi Paper Jam video. That is to say, typos aren't sins.
The Eye of Now absorbed your power through your shadow in the past. What may have worked 10 years ago no longer does.
And that's exactly why you should have brought the Scepter of Darkness into the present with you!
Charriii sins the same thing twice, cliche.
Wait, how'd you get the green Chaos Emerald? Shadow never let go of it as far as I know.
He dropped it when he was blasted into the air. That or Mephiles snatched it from him.
You must realize now that you cannot...
Did they really have to animate his mouth? I mean, it hasn't been animated this whole time. I still would have understood that it's the one in the middle that's talking.
I don't see the problem with it being animated. Yeah, it's a little disturbing, but Mephiles is always disturbing.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
Suddenly Sonic X.
Charriii makes a pop culture reference.
Also, how did you take those things off? I mean, they kind of just fell to the ground, but they still look like a full ring, meaning you must have slipped them off your wrist, but your hands are way too big for you to have done that.
The rings do slip off his hands, despite their size. His right hand even lowers to where you can't see it.
Wow, Elise, that was the most delayed response to anything I think I've ever seen.
This is happening in slow motion. Notice Elise's slowed movement before the next cut?
Sonic!
Well, it's only fitting that this would be the game to kill Sonic the Hedgehog. Also, they killed Sonic the Hedgehog!
I don't care what excuse or joke you have. Sinning this moment. This moment is what makes Mephiles stand out as the best Sonic villain, and to this day, he has not been surpassed by anyone, as much as Infinite tried. That's worth these many sins.
Finally, the seal is broken.
Wait, that was your plan? Kill Sonic so that Elise would cry and break Iblis's seal? That's convoluted as f***. Not to mention, motherfucker, you control time! Why not go back to when you both separated the first time? Yeah, Shadow and Silver were there, but what was Shadow gonna do? Seal both Mephilises? Mephilisi? You could have just joined with Iblis then! Or hell, you were already in the future and already had Silver doing your bidding for you. Just have him beat the shit out of Iblis until he reverts back to his baby form and join with him then. And I mean, damn, didn't the Flames of Disaster originally get released after Elise died on board the egg carrier? Elise was going to die one day anyway, why not just go to that point in time and join with him then? Why did you go to all this trouble just to kill Sonic?
Because like I said in the Rush video, Sonic is canonically the most powerful character in the Sonic multiverse. Mephiles had his beef with Shadow, yes, but since he wanted Sonic dead, it's safe to assume he realized how powerful Sonic was as well. Your examples also have issues. For one, Silver was right there while Iblis was sealed, and he can hold his own very well against Sonic and Shadow, so he could keep Mephiles at bay while Iblis was being sealed. 2. Silver and Blaze had no idea how to defeat Iblis, and Mephiles' plan was to keep them under his thumb, and they only found out how to deal with Iblis because they go to the past. 3rd, like I said, he knows how powerful Sonic is, so even if he had joined with Iblis when Elise died, Sonic would show up to stop him. He needed a way to not only reconnect with Iblis, but also take out his biggest threat. It may be convoluted, but in his mind, it was the only way.
What are you doing here? This is all so confusing.
Yeah, I agree with everything Silver just said. What are they doing here? Why just them and no one else?
Everyone else either died or is somewhere else in the void. The Sonic cast can handle the distortion.
Solaris!
This creature will consume all existing timelines, and time itself will collapse and disappear into nothingness.
The instability of time caused this time-space rift.
But shouldn't that mean that Blaze should be here too? I mean, it is a time-space rift, and she was kind of important to the story. Certainly more important than Knuckles, and he's here.
She's dead, man. Time, space, rift or not, you don't come back from the afterlife. Not as yourself, anyway.
We've no time to waste. We've got to defeat it now!
No, it is a transcendent life form that exists in the past, present, and future. Defeating it here, now, would do nothing.
No, I won't give up. There has to be a way. If you say it exists in the past, present, and future, I'll destroy them all at once!
Silver, I don't think you understand how time works. Past, present, and future aren't exact points in time. There's always more past in the past and more future in the future.
Which is why when the Hedgehogs go super, they're constantly moving throughout time to hurt him. And don't say it isn't possible, because the Super Hogs have multiversal power. And even then, Solaris could still hurt them.
What's the matter?
I feel Sonic's presence in the wind.
Oh, bullshit. No, you don't.
Yes, she does. You're just saying no for the sake of saying no.
I don't think he's dead yet. I'm sure of it. It's not too late.
Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead. There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
You almost got me to chuckle with that one. But still, Charriii makes a Princess Bride ref.
Of course! Let's call him back with the power of the Chaos Emeralds.
Since when the f*** have the Chaos Emeralds been able to bring someone back from the dead? Gee, Joe Robotnik sure missed the boat on that one, huh?
I'm tired of saying it. You know what I'm gonna say.
You can do it, Princess.
I can?
You were the vessel that was used to seal Iblis. You should be able to use the gem's power to rescue Sonic's soul.
That makes absolutely no sense, because one thing has absolutely nothing to do with the other.
As I mentioned earlier, Elise containing Iblis for 10 years takes an extreme amount of willpower. That's what Silver was referring to.
I mean, I don't know why Knuckles turned around. Eggman did say it was in the corners of the world, and everyone kind of seems to be going in the same general direction.
The same general direction? Team Dark is going over there, while Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Silver are heading forward.
You have given me so many things.
Like what? A field day, some exercise, and a terrible piece of advice?
Still harping on that, are you? Sonic has allowed Elise to emote far more than she's ever done in her life. Remember, she's had to be stone-faced for 10 years to contain Iblis. Also, that advice wasn't terrible. You just don't understand it.
Sonic, come back. To me. To us.
Did you just... Why are you... Does this count as necro-bestiality? Honestly, I don't know which one of the two bothers me more.
Now, I'm not necessarily defending this scene, but I am going to say this. This is not necro-bestiality or even normal bestiality. Sonic is anthropomorphic and has roughly the same intelligence as a human. He's not a normal hedgehog.
Oh, so you can do that. Huh. I can't believe this game did something right that Sonic Heroes did wrong. But then again, Elise did kiss a dead animal, so...
Oh, I see. You're one of those Sonic fans. The kind of Sonic fan that can only give 06 a backhanded compliment at best. Let's just say I have a particular disdain for those fans.
I'm sorry, is Solaris' sound effect just a slowed down wolf?
It sounds similar, but not quite. This is a real wolf howl.
Is it impossible to defeat a super-dimensional being after all?
No, something's different. I can feel a large, powerful consciousness coming from Solaris.
What? A consciousness? That's it! That's his core!
It's all you, Shadow!
Even if we can't stop his form, we can stop his consciousness!
There's a strange thing in the middle of Solaris!
I'll take care of this!
Oh, I wonder, could the giant glowing f***me orb in the middle of the super-dimensional beast possibly be the core and therefore the thing I need to attack?
You're no better than them. Stop pretending you are.
Did you destroy it?
No. That is the true Solaris.
You know, as opposed to the fake Solaris we fought?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
If we put out this flame, Solaris will never exist. And then we'll never have to worry about the flames of disaster, right?
I mean, I guess? Who's to say that time itself won't collapse if Solaris is gone? Maybe he just won't exist from this moment on?
Elise's notion is actually correct in this sense, and I can only guess why this works like Back to the Future and yet my previous example didn't, is because erasing the god of time is much bigger than affecting a single strand of time. Or maybe time's just a constantly changing force that we will never truly understand. Either way, time travel stories are almost never good.
But our encounter... You and I will never meet. It will never have happened. To tell the truth, I don't care what happens to the world.
What the f*** is the matter with you? You're choosing knowing someone you met literally a day ago over the potential lives of billions of people?
I am going to defend this scene. Elise right now is only expressing her emotions. She still goes through with it despite her sadness. If she were, say, keeping Sonic to herself against his will, like Chris Thorndike, a kid who deserves all the hate he gets, then your sin would be valid. But she's not.
So, none of this ever happened?
I would have thought you would like that. I mean, it's like the game itself is apologizing and undoing itself. But then again, it still survives in an alternate timeline, and the hearts of those who appreciate it.
Is this supposed to be the Festival of the Sun? Why? Wasn't the whole point of the festival to appease Solaris? If Solaris never existed, what the hell are they celebrating?
Something else, apparently. This is just another festival that happens to look like the Festival of the Sun.
Also, wouldn't that mean that everything that happened due to Solaris never happened? For example, the Duke of Soliana wouldn't be dead unless he died due to some other reason, and Silver's future isn't f***ed up, meaning there's no reason for Blaze to go to another dimension because Iblis doesn't exist anymore.
The Duke was very old when Elise was a child, so it'd be understandable if he's dead by this time. Also, because 06 no longer exists in the current timeline, it makes way for Russian rivals to be the canon origins for Blaze and Silver. And for the last time, Blaze is dead in this timeline. She's passed, kaput, dunzo, finito. Her soul went to the afterlife and never returned.
Miss Elise? It felt like someone was calling me. I'm sure it's just the wind. Of course. But it felt so familiar somehow.
No, it didn't.
Again, saying no for the sake of saying no.
Okay, so every episode has its own credits, and, you know, that's fine, I'm used to that in Sonic games, but in every single version, including the last episode, after the main theme of the character you played as, you have to listen to the same version of His World. And don't get me wrong, I like His World, I think it's a good song, but there were 3 different versions of it when this game came out, and they still played the same one on all 4 credit sequences.
Okay, so you don't have to listen to them. The credits are skippable, and even then, one of them is just a longer version of a motif already in the game. It's not bad that those versions were scrapped due to time restraints, and even if they weren't, you'd still have to listen to at least one version twice for 2 of the stories. Oh no.
465. 465 loading screens. Oh yeah, I counted them. 465. And that's just the ones you have to see, not including any missions you fail, any unnecessary times you go from one hub world to another. This is assuming you do everything in the game perfectly. And you want to know how long the loading screens are together? Oh yeah, I did that too. 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 34 seconds. That's almost 2 hours of nothing. That's almost 2 goddamn collective hours of waiting for something to happen. And you are a fucking idiot if you thought for a second that I wasn't going to count each and every single godforsaken load screen and add them to the counter. Remember, you wanted this. You asked for this. And now, Daddy's delivering, so sit back and enjoy.
No thanks, I think I'll pass. You know, one of my subscribers actually calls this the best part of the video. And you know what? It very well could have been. If it weren't for the fact that you already seen this. Every ounce of work this entire section held is immediately thrown in the trash simply because you were physically incapable of keeping your mouth shut. If you had said nothing about the loading screens, if you had gone this entire hour-long video without mentioning the load screens once, this would have been not only deserved, but also a really great fake out. This had potential to be the funniest and best part of the whole video. But because you seen them earlier, all of this is rendered padding for the sake of padding. And y'all know very well how we treat that here.
This isn't funny! Yeah! What is this? Do you think this is funny? Shut up! You're like the 26 millionth person to type this fucking joke into the internet! Do you think people care? No, you dumbass! Let me warn you, if you ever type that sentence again, I'll know. And next time, I will eat your limbs! Do you understand? You putrid f***ing
06 sucks.
Hello everyone, Tony Sonic here. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it a lot. There is literally nothing I can say about Sonic 06. At least nothing that hasn't already been said by countless others on the internet. Emphatically and repeatedly at that. Except for the fact that despite all its problems, I like this game. In fact, if I were to ever make a list of my top 10 guilty pleasures in video games, this would more than likely top it. But yes, it's a bad game, but I like to think that my reasoning for liking it is valid. After all, there is stuff to like here. Unfortunately, fans like me are a rarity. Everyone and their mom harps on this game like it's the spawn of Satan. And I, for one, am tired of all of it. I mean, it's been 16 years since this game came out. Why can't you all just move on to other Sonic games that more than deserve the hate? Because that's the Sonic fan base for you. 75% of players do nothing but rant and rage about it, 20% actually review the damn game, and 5% actually like it. There's not much overlap. Hang on a second, isn't Shadow a year older than 06 and you have no problem ranting about it? Yes, but that's because A, I'm biased, and B, the fans are a lot more generous towards Shadow. 06 has been the punching bag of the series ever since it released. Yeah, it made a dreadful impact on the series as a whole, but so did Metroid Other M when that game first released, and now everything's hunky-dory now that Dread is a thing. So, let me instead pose a suggestion. If we're gonna keep bringing up 06 every other Tuesday, why not instead only talk about the stuff we like about this game? And if that's physically impossible for you, well, I would say don't bring it up at all, but this is the Sonic fan base. You basically proven that that's pretty much impossible. But I will ask that you at the very least try. Because at this point, the horse is so dead at this point that it came back multiple times just to beg you to stop. With that said, thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, comment what you thought, and consider subscribing. The next video is Secret Rings. Don't have the energy to come up with a clever hint. But to all of the rabid 06 haters who are currently swarming the comments section and raging about how bad 06 is and how wrong I am for simply liking a game you hate, I know you exist! I only have one thing to say to you.
That does it! Don't touch grass now!